Voice. It's the 26th of April already. Can you believe it? Well, okay, first of all, tune into WLBB's Facebook Live, and you can see three of the, 15, is that right? Graduating, 12. 3 of 12 of Oak Mountain Academy's graduating seniors. And I'm going to introduce you to these ladies. Anna Robinson, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good. That was good, by the way. Good sound check. Alexandria Rakestraw.
Good morning.
And Ruby Court. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here today.
We're so happy to see you. And we've been hearing about you over the year. You're the graduating seniors of this of the 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I even have the year right? What's going on? Oh, did you get that on the? Did you get that? All my secrets laid bare to the world. Okay, you guys are graduating. I think I've made that clear. And we just want to talk to you about your experience, what you are planning in the future. And I have about a million questions. So let's start with Anna.
Okay.
Okay. So what college are you going to go to?
I'm going to the University of Georgia.
Excellent. Go Dogs.
Yes. I'm planning on entering the nursing field, but Georgia doesn't have a nursing school, so I'm just going to go and get my sciences at first and just explore the medical field, I think.
Okay, that sounds
Yes.
like good. Do you have half an idea of what kind of nursing you want, or what kind of nurse you want to be, a pediatric or ER? Or?
I'd like to be a nurse midwife.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm really impressed that you already have a focus. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. And of course that might change, but whatever.
I'm sure there'll be some changes.
You know what I mean? Okay, well then let's see. Ruby, we'll go to you next.
Okay. Well, I'm going to Georgia Tech, so sorry. Anna. No, I don't watch football, so it doesn't really matter to me. I'm majoring in literature, media, and communications, which is strange from Tech, but they actually have a surprisingly wonderful course load. It's I've been looking into it, and it's really impressive. And hopefully within 5 years I'll be going into journalism. I'm not really sure if I want to go more into pop culture or more into like speech writing area, but I know I want to write, so hopefully I'll be in Atlanta doing something like that, and that's my goal.
What kind of literature do you like?
I read a lot of science fiction, but I also read a lot of like dystopian novels, like A Handmaid's Tale, Brave New World, things like that.
Yeah, Orwell.
Yeah, Orwell, 1984. I read just about anything. I just love to read. I also like World War II novels, Catch-22, Slaughterhouse-Five, stuff like that.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
That's my favorite book!
So it goes, man.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, we're going to be talking us some Slaughterhouse-Five. You know, I teach that in my classes, and it blows my students' minds.
I know, it's so cool. Like, no one else understands that book, and it just makes me so sad, but I love it so much. I've read it like 5 times.
Well, you would totally pass my class.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, I'd like to read one of your essays on it. Alexandria?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, same question. Let's hear from you.
So I'm going to the University of Georgia as well,
Okay.
and I want to major in biochemistry, and I hope to pursue medical school. I want to be an oncologist, and specifically a radiation oncologist.
Wow. You know, that's really important. Because when you're a radiation oncologist, you're dealing with people who are having horrible days.
Yes, ma'am, and I really see the psychology part of it as well. That really interests me. Just, being so comforting to families, that's something that's really vital to me. So pursuing my passion for science and for comforting others really opens a way for me to pursue oncology.
Yeah, because they're just so vulnerable
Absolutely.
when they would come and see you.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So I was going to ask you all where you see yourself in 5 years, but I think we've covered that question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, here's something that let's just pretend that we can go back in time.
Okay.
And that you can whisper into your rising 9th grade self. Okay, because you guys are seniors, and you're at the end of your senior year, so you know everything. Okay, so Anna, what would you tell your ninth grade self? What do you know now that you wish that she had known?
Oh my goodness. I would definitely tell myself to manage my time more effectively so that I'm not up late last minute doing 9th grade projects.
Absolutely.
That's something that I've learned and has come very much in handy.
Well, good. I'm glad you learned it now.
I would also tell myself that the seniors are approachable and that they're not as super cool as I thought they might be.
No, we're not cool at all.
So that's something I've tried to make clear to the ninth grade, that we are approachable. You can come and talk to us. We're not so high and mighty.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. What would you tell yourself, Alexandria?
I would tell myself to go to more games, go to more basketball games, get really involved in the sports teams, and get really enthusiastic about games. Because in ninth grade, I was like, oh, I'm a ninth grader now. I don't need to do that. But I definitely needed to do that because now it's senior year, and I wish I had those moments back. I wish I could see our boys play one more time. I wish I could see, cheer on my best friends on the court. I'm really going to miss that aspect of the close relationships I have with the players on the court. So go to more games. Be more peppy,
Yeah, and that would apply to anybody who's at school, right?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
All right, Ruby, you've had longer to think about this than us. So.
I guess I'd probably tell myself, don't sweat it. It's just high school. I mean, continue up with the work, but this isn't my peak right now. But just enjoy it and go along for the ride. Don't stress so much about it. Just go with the flow. And also, when I make a B in AP Chem, don't be scared. It'll be okay. I mean, I did fine on the exam, so it's fine.
And that is actually really. Sometimes you can overthink and over.
I just remember coming in ninth grade, I was like terrified. I didn't even use the microwave. I was so scared of everybody who was older than me. I was just so nervous about I was just nervous at all times, and I couldn't stand it. I just needed to chill out because going to a small school, we're not as judgmental as you may think. We're just people. I just needed to chill out and realize that.
Well, let's talk about your school, Oak Mountain Academy. You guys have a fantastic record, and I actually am quite envious that that you guys. I mean, that I wasn't able to go to school like you guys went to, but Firestone High School, class of 1978. Go Eagles! I don't think it even exists anymore, honestly. But I mean, tell me. I don't know. This is kind of a vague question, so make of it what you wish. But what was it like for you to be a Warrior or Oak Mountain? Hannah.
Well, it's definitely different than the experience that some of my friends have had at larger public schools. And it's one that I'm proud of. I like how close everybody is. We know everybody's name in the lower, middle, and upper schools pretty much.
Do you guys work with the kids in the lower schools?
I do. I'm a student assistant in the second grade class, and my
Nice.
aunt's also the teacher. So it's literally a family environment. Yeah. And one of my favorite things that we've done every year right before spring break is we have what we call Kite Day.
Kite?
Kite.
Oh, kite.
Yes.
Oh, kite.
Kite
Oh,
Day.
yeah.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yes. And somehow the weather always works out nicely. And we just, all the schools come together and we eat hot dogs and fly kites, and it's just a great time.
That sounds like
Great
so
time
much
of year.
fun. That sounds
Yeah.
great. How about you? How would you characterize your experience? And you have friends that go to other schools?
Yeah. I know a lot of people from a lot of other schools, from Carrollton, from around Georgia. I went to the Governor's Honors Program, so I know people from all throughout Georgia. And it's been a lot different from what I've been able to hear apart from it. I feel like I've got the hands-on connection with my teachers to really progress in every single classroom. That's something I talk about that every time I talk about Mountain, because if I've ever had a challenge, and I'm not one to go ask for help, so being comfortable to go to a teacher and say, I'm struggling, please help me out, it's really comforting to know that I can do that. And it's also just been, I've never felt like you can't really run and hide at Oak Mountain. Everyone knows your name. They notice when there's something wrong with you. Teachers, they really care about you, and they'll confront you about it in a calming way. And it's been a family for me. It's been a fantastic time at this school. It's been something so different besides a public school where I would have just shrunk, and I wouldn't have been able to grow like I have here. I would have just been in the background. But Oak Mountain, they don't let you do that. You have to be this. You get the spotlight at some point, because there's no one else to do it.
Yeah, and it's such good experience for you guys. So, Alexandria, you answer that question too, and then we're going to take a break, and I've got another crazy question to ask you after that.
Okay.
But anyway, Alexandria.
Being a Warrior to me is basically part of my identity now. It's given me a way to carry myself with dignity and the confidence that an introvert like me needs, because now it allows me to do things like this. And speaking of that, like the opportunities that being a warrior gives you, the head of school approaches you and asks you to do something like this, and you're like, how can I say no? But it's a wonderful opportunity and experience that I wouldn't get anywhere else, and that I couldn't imagine being anything other than a warrior. So
wow. All right. Well, this is so interesting. I'm going to really look forward for the next 60 seconds to get over with, although we do love our sponsor, Tanner Health System. And so we'll be right back with Anna and Ruby and Alexandria from Oak Mountain Academy. Check us out on Facebook Live.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And we're back, everybody. Hi, this is Lori Wilson with you on Community Voice. Today we are talking to 3 warriors. Well, by that I mean graduating Oak Mountain Academy seniors. And so we have Anna, Ruby, and Alexandria. And we are going to talk in this segment about triumphs, about your triumphs as Oak Mountain High School students, and then what you wish you could do over. So if you had to do it. But let's start with the positive. Well, yeah, let's start with the positive. Ruby, what do you think was your biggest triumph?
Oh my goodness.
Out of all of the many, you must pick one.
My biggest triumph at Oak Mountain, that's just so hard to say. I mean, I feel like there's been so many.
Accomplished so much.
Yeah, I mean, I've just done a lot, because at Oak Mountain, you do a little bit of everything. So.
You took foreign language?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Which one?
I take French.
French?
AP French right now, yes, ma'am.
Très bien. Très bien. Oh, oui. Okay. Okay, so you had a senior project.
Yes,
that you had
I
to
did.
Do. Let's talk about that, because that sounds triumphant anyway.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. My senior project is I'm working with Dawn Goodwin, who's a writer in Carrollton, and she's been helping me write and publish a short story, which is my senior project. I've been just basically been doing that this whole year, going through so many ideas, trying to figure something out. And right now I'm in the publishing process, which for short stories is different than regular writing. So you basically just send them to journals and say, please, and hope something happens. And right now nothing has happened. So we'll see how that works.
Do you find it's true, that old saying about writers, you never finish a piece of writing, you have to abandon it?
Yeah.
Because there's always something else you could do to it.
Yes. I was going through my Google Docs last night. I found like 3 stories I had started and just left. And I was like, I don't even remember doing these. And they were like from like freshman, sophomore year. And I was like reading them. And I was like, ooh, I need to work on those.
Okay. Alexandria, talk about your triumph.
Okay, my triumph. Probably my most memorable triumph is with foreign language. I took Spanish, and I really loved Spanish. It was one of my favorite classes easily, and every year we take a national Spanish exam just to see where you rank among the students of Georgia, of the nation, see where they place, and you are awarded based off how many you get correct, and you get medals. And my freshman year, being the intimidated person that I was, I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, this is just some test and it's not really going to do much for me. But I actually ended up getting a silver medal, and my Spanish teacher called me out into the hall, which terrifying, by the way, but she called me out in the hall and she said, you got silver. and I screamed in the hall, and she screamed with me. So it felt so good to get that medal and to really think that maybe I might have a future with the Spanish language.
Would you consider yourself bilingual yet?
No, ma'am.
So you're going to keep going with your study?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to continue into college. I might minor in Spanish.
That would help you a lot as
an oncologist.
right,
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. Okay, Anna, you're up next. Triumph.
Well, this year, with the help of our English teacher, Mr. Denny, and Miss Gillespie, and some Chick-fil-A chicken minis, I was able to win the state rhetorical essay for the literary competition.
What was your argument?
Well, we had to write about a short story and then see what kind of rhetorical strategies the author used.
Oh, I see. What story did you pick?
Well, they gave us one that we've never seen.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was called A Death in the Family. I don't remember the author.
She says, don't ask me.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So that's really good. Rhetorical strategies.
Yes.
So tell us a couple. Do you remember? Am I pushing too much? Going, please, Lori, I have much more on my mind.
Well, I don't remember exactly which strategies I used, but I know that I had to write about which ones conveyed the speaker's character, and so things such as imagery and diction.
Yeah, that's really good because you even look at specific word choices and you go, wow, that word's connotations really make a difference in how I understand this sentence or this paragraph, right?
Yes.
So vocabulary building. You guys seem to have an okay vocabulary. Is there anything you do over?
Anything I do over? Oh my goodness.
That you want to tell us about?
Well, I think this year when we went to individual state tennis, I played girls singles, and I think that I would have maybe tried harder on my first match than I underestimated my opponent. Yes.
Okay, these are good life lessons. You know what? It occurs to me, and this is not the show about me, but I graduated from high school 40 years ago. Yeah, I know. I know. I immediately felt old just that. So so we have something in common there. We graduated in a year ending with 8. Okay, I'm going to get a little more serious now and just sort of get off campus. Oh, since you're going to be leaving Oak Mountain Academy, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Big change.
It doesn't really feel real right now.
Yeah, it hasn't set in.
Yeah. I want to know what you're concerned about. If you have any concerns about our country, tell me what you think about in that way, because you're our heirs. Oh, they didn't know this was coming up, see? And then maybe that's a good question for you guys to ponder while we go to a break. You want to do that?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Or you can talk me into just retracting the question. Either way, you've got 60 seconds. We're gonna hear from Tanner Health System, and when we get back, more with the delightful Oak Mountain 3 of the 12 Oak Mountain Academy graduating seniors. So stick around.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama. Because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And we're back, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to our final segment on Community Voice with Oak Mountain Academy graduating seniors, Anna Robinson, Ruby Court, and Alexandria Rakestraw. If you're just joining us, we're on Facebook Live right now. WLBB, I think it's WLBB, right? Well, anyway, you'll just Facebook that and you'll see us. And luckily, we'll have a good last segment. Now, I asked you a question just before the break, and that is, you three ladies, what, if any, what concerns you about our country? You know, this big society that you're entering. You know, you're going to go to college and campuses that are much, much bigger and probably much more politically charged. I would say. So, Ruby, make what you will of that question. Tell us what you think.
I guess one of my biggest concerns with the future of our country and the world in general is the environment. I think that's. I remember I've watched so many like environmental documentaries and read so many news stories about what our future is going to be like, and for me personally, that's scary. I mean,
what's the specific fear?
Well, energy, you know, pollination, our food systems, things like that. I mean, our produce travels across country. This big country, 3,000 miles from like California to now to Georgia, and like the freshness of that can't be good for us. And I just worry about the energy crisis with the fuel and the oil and whatnot, and I think there's better ways, and I know going to Georgia Tech, there's so many engineers going into renewable energy, and I think personally that strengthens my hope for the country. But I mean, at the end of the day, it still worries me because that was one of my. I thought about going into renewable energy engineering or architecture and pouring in environmental. Things that would help the environment, like building houses with solar panels and stuff like that. That's just one of my biggest worries for my future. But I think with the growing concern for it, I think it'll be okay. But,
okay, good.
It's something I want to work for.
So it's my father used to say, Lori, never be worried, but you can be concerned, just never be worried. Because when you're concerned, then you don't have as much stress that renders you unable to take action, right?
Absolutely. But concern can always turn into, determination into going against it. And I think that's another thing that drives me, at least.
Okay. All right. That's a great answer. Anna?
Well, I also think that there's a lot of great things going on in this country right now.
Let's hear them.
Well, our economy seems to be doing a lot better than it was 10 years ago.
I like my paycheck better these days.
So I've heard. Yes, and I just remember I went to a different school. I went to Rootville when I was until 5th grade. And so I remember back in 2008 to about 2011, there were a lot of kids who didn't have Christmas at my school. And so now, even though I'm not at that school, I do see that a lot of things are turning up for the better. So maybe they'll continue because there's still a lot of that poverty. But yeah.
And in the meantime, we have so many great community organizations that the Toys for Tots, for example,
Yes.
Southwire, and all the partnerships that we have in our area that address that concern of yours. But that's very, very empathetic of you. Thank you. Okay, Alexandria?
Personally, I would talk about crime rates in the country. They've been growing exponentially, and it's something that is disheartening, and especially how desensitized Americans have become to violence. You see it on the news so often, and you think, oh, another shooting, another, things like that. And it's really scary. It's frightening to me because if it continues progressing at the rate that it is, I don't know what country that my kids will be brought into that whenever I am married and have children. So as an individual, I really want to dedicate my life to bettering my community and hopefully bettering, going further than that. And there's ways that I really want to start helping move this country, just as an individual.
Sure.
Move towards more peaceful actions.
I guess it goes down to just the breakdown of civility.
Absolutely. I agree.
And that just might mean looking someone in the eye and saying good morning, or holding a door open, or just sort of not lying.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Kindness can go a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, kindness and truth. It seems to me that no, I was going to wax all politically correct. No, I'm not going to. But if we always just tell the truth,
absolutely,
and then we won't get sidetracked with untruths that are starting to compound and I think lead to this civil this incivility that you're talking about,
Yes, ma'am.
Alexandria. These are very thoughtful questions. I mean, answers to my question. Okay. And, okay, so we have about we have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So I want you guys to spend them the way you wish. Give shout outs to anybody you want to. Maybe this can be your ad lib rehearsal for a graduation speech. Now they did not know I was going to ask them that. They're looking at me like, well, we still like you, but who wants to start? Anybody?
Yes.
Good. Take it away.
I would actually like to thank Senor Miranda. I did not say her name when I was talking about how much I love Spanish, and her focus for me specifically really helped me through the Spanish program at Oak Mountain. So thank you, Senor Miranda. You are awesome. I promise you don't intimidate me anymore. I think of you as a close friend.
So muchas gracias.
Yes, muchas gracias.
Okay, Anna?
Well, I would like to say hi to my sister, Neil. If she's listening, she's at school, so she's probably not there, but maybe she can look this up later.
She can.
Yes.
She certainly can.
Also, if anyone out there is having a rough day, take some time to do something fun. I know something I like to do is go get some coffee from Chick-fil-A. Some of my favorite things.
Where would we be without that delicious chicken nuggets? I really like grilled chicken nuggets.
Yes.
We didn't intend this to be a commercial, but I mean,
Not endorsed.
Just so happens.
and talk about civility, though. I noticed that some of the best businesses in our town train their young people who work for them to look people in the eye and say, "My pleasure to serve you," and hello, and just those little moments that make your day go better. Okay. Oh, okay. Alexandria wishes to add to this.
My dad always talks about that as a 70-year-old man. He values the importance of politeness, and his biggest pet peeve is if somebody says no problem. Like, he wants somebody to be very genuine with his, with their thank yous and things like that. So it's really nice to see that in Chick-fil-A. Also, hi, Dad.
Hi, Mr. Rakestraw. Okay.
I just want to say thank you to Miss Gillespie, Mr. Tuttle, Mr. Denny, and Mr. Lauda. Those 4 teachers got me through Oak Mountain. They've been an immense help, and probably say hi to my parents. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. And hey, Jack, if you ever listen to this. That's my little brother. I'm on the radio. You're not.
In your face, Jack. But he will be someday, perhaps.
Probably. I hope so. That's the hope. Be just like me.
Okay. Well, I'm making sure that we have enough time for my next loaded question. Does it look like we have about 2 more minutes? Is that right? 2 more minutes? And I spent 30 seconds of them just trying to figure out how much time, so that didn't help very much. Okay. You guys have actually done this, but I like to give my guests the last couple of minutes, in your case about 30 seconds each, to give us something to take with us today. Those of us who didn't go or aren't going to Oak Mountain, but tell us what you think we should be holding in our hearts as we confront today on the planet.
For me, I think it's very important to be an original person. Just be true to yourself. Don't conform to the outside world or peer pressure. There's something inside of you that tells you what's right and what's wrong, and it's up to you, not anyone else, to do that.
Okay. That's really good. Thank you. Anna?
I would say don't stress the small stuff today. Make sure that you carve out time for yourself, and balance is one of my favorite things to talk about.
Well, you can really let small stuff just consume your life, right? And then a week later, you're going, what on earth was I worried about?
Right.
Okay, that's really great. And Alex?
For me, treat others as you want to be treated. On the topic of civility, treat others like they're actual human beings who have feelings, who, go throughout life. And, if you're having a hard day, you can just turn to others and try to spread kindness to them. So hopefully they can give it to another person.
It's a real mistake to think that you can size somebody up just at a glance.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So those are all really great. Now, I just want you to know, and if you're on Facebook Live, you can probably see Paula Gillespie and Katie Kilgore are here waving the camera. We want to thank you guys for creating the kind of environment that helps you produce graduates of this caliber, and we're really, really happy for you guys. And graduation is on what day?
May
May
19th.
That's my husband's birthday. Okay, well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Stay in touch, and everybody go out and make it a better world somehow. You'll figure it out. Just try. Okay.